What if everything you've been told about aging is wrong? What if your 40s, 50s, and even 60s aren't the beginning of the decline, but the beginning of your strongest, most confident, most energized self? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Experiment podcast, and I'm your host, Monica Clavijo. And this is the space where we strip away the excuses, the fear, and the limitations, and get real about what it actually takes to transform your life. Today's episode is going to challenge everything that you believe about aging, fitness, and what's possible for your body. Because today we're sitting down with Amy, a 65-year-old woman who is living proof that discipline, consistency, and mindset can completely redefine your future. She's not just in shape, she's thriving, strong, energized, showing us that it's never too late to take control of your health and your life. In this conversation, we're diving into what it really takes for changes as we age, how to stay consistent when energy isn't there anymore, and what it actually takes to feel good in your body again, without extremes, without perfection, just real life. If you've ever felt like it's too late, like your body's working against you, or like you're stuck in a version of yourself you've outgrown, this episode is for you. So if you're ready to take your power back to feel better, look better, and live better, you're in the right place. I want to thank you all for watching and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And join our community because we're all about real stories, real growth, and real transformation. Now let's dive in. If you love yoga, fitness, or working out at home, but your knees, back, and joints don't love it back, listen up. The folding mat isn't just another yoga mat. It's the only yoga and fitness mat on the market right now designed with a patented folded seams that allows the mat to fold over and double the cushion exactly where your body needs it the most. That means more comfort, more support, and serious protection from injury, especially your joints, spine, wrists, and knees. Whether you're flowing through yoga, holding planks, stretching, or powering through a workout, the folding mat adapts to you. You're not forced to adjust your body to the mat adjusts to your body. And here's the game changer. The folding mat features built-in guidelines and hand and foot placement sections, so you're always aligned correctly. Perfect posture, perfect positioning every single time. That means safer workouts, better form, and stronger results, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro. One mat, multiple positions, maximum comfort. Upgrade the way you move, train, and protect your body with the folding mat. Use promo code MONICA at checkout for a 10% discount. That's promo code MONICA because your body deserves better support. All right. Hey there, Amy. Thank you so much for joining me on the Bear Experiment podcast. I'm your host, Monica Clavijo. Today, I sit down with an amazing, inspiring bodybuilder who is now 65 years old and in incredible shape. She is a trainer also, and now she is trying to start her own online business, right? You've been very open about your journey on TikTok, sharing your experiences and your daily workouts and what you're eating, your protein, your diet. And again, it's just very motivating to see a beautiful woman your age who's been able to maintain herself so healthy, right? And abundant and just the energy that you have, like it shines through your energy when you speak on camera. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Hey,
So tell me a little bit, Amy. So you're 65 years old and you're in better shape than most people half your age. So really, what's your secret?
I'm still competing in fitness competitions, but the fitness competitions that I do they're extreme fitness. So it's not just bikini because I never just wanted to get on stage and just stand there and pose. And I thought that was just kind of like cringe. So I started with this organization called the Tri Fitness World Challenge back in 1998, and I did a couple of competitions. Now, prior to that, I trained with the trainer. That was my. I'll go back. Um, after I had my kids, so I was about 30 years old. I looked at my body in a three-way mirror, and it was all vanity back then. Of course, now it's a little bit of both.
Of
Um,
course.
Vanity drove me into fitness. So I found this girl. She was my hairdresser, and she was a true bodybuilder. She just looked gorgeous, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that too. And I said, will you train me? And back then, there weren't a lot of female trainers at all. So I hired her and I trained with her for 2 years. And within 2 years, my body transformed. I trained in this gym with wrestlers and professional bodybuilders and all these big dudes that it was very intimidating because I was like a little soccer
Sure.
mom,
I can imagine.
kind of meek in a way. And I walked in and I'm like, but within the second week that I was there, some guy came up to me. I have no idea who he is, but this stuck with me forever. And he said, he looked at my body. He says, you have great genetics. He says, one day you're going to make it to stage and you're going to do very well in this profession. And
Were you working out prior to
no,
entering this at 30 after having three children?
oh, I was the person that cut out a gym class and PE class, and I didn't want to sweat. And, I was like this prissy little girl, and I didn't want to sweat. And I didn't, I just didn't like the pain of it. But this girl got me into the most phenomenal shape, and I made it to stage within 2 years. I just worked and I worked, and back then we had magazines, so I read everything on fitness I possibly can. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have this all available to us. We had magazines that we actually had to read.
Right.
So nutrition and what I should be doing on top of just training with her 3 days a week, what I should be doing by myself. And I got the bug. I went from this soccer mommy, stay-at-home mommy, to this crazy fitness person. So I decided to do this competition that I heard about, the Tri Fitness World Challenge. And I'm not promoting anyone. It's just a competition that I have been loyal to for almost 30 years. And I competed. And back then, when you did a fitness competition, it was much more elite than it is now. It's for prizes, grand prizes, money,
Hmm.
the magazines, conventions with big fitness names, stuff like that. And I was so shy and so meek, and I did the entire competition, which incorporates um, fitness routine, which is like that dancey routine, bikini, and extreme races, which are obstacle course races and stuff like that. So it's a 3 day event. And I had a lot of fun doing it, and I always placed in the top 10. Now, I was in my late 30s at that point, or later 30s, and I did two competitions and decided, you know what, this is very selfish. I have two teenage kids, young teenage kids. Um, I'm done. I'll just sit back and I'll judge. So I was able to judge this competition. The promoter of the show asked me to judge.
Hmm.
I agreed. So I judged for many, 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 many years. Um, Fast forward to 2012. I don't know if you know this, Monica, but I lost my son
Yeah,
um,
I saw that. I saw that in your social. I know you talked about it. I'm so sorry.
in a car accident. And he was 26 when I lost him. And even though I was already in fitness, it just something really popped in my head. And I said, I have to live for two. The only way I'm going to get out of this. I was just a different person. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't
Of
function. I was
course.
I was medicated by the psychiatrists were medicating me with all kinds of stuff. And the only way I could do it is just working out harder and harder and harder. And that was my therapy. I went to therapist after therapist after therapist, and no one could tell me that grief was a journey and that I had to get through it myself somehow.
Yeah.
The way I got through it was just working out even harder. And then a few years later, the promoter of the show said, hey, why don't you come back and compete again? And I said, Coach, I said, I'm going to be 58 years old. I was about 57 years old. I said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "What drugs are you on? How, yeah, how am I going to flip over these, it's flipping over walls and hurdling and sprinting and, all kinds of crazy things that we do in the competition, plus bikini." And he says, "You got this. You got this. I'll train you." So I went back out there and I started training again with him. My story is it's never too late. And so the first competition I did at 58 years old, there were 90 girls in bikini, and I came in second place, and I was 58 years old.
In these competitions that you were entering, is it certain ages, right? Like, or is it as long as you're fit, you can join?
You could join at any age. I mean, right now there's an 80-year-old that competed the last show I did, believe it, but she didn't do the bikini part. She just did the sports. So you could pick and choose what you want to do in this competition. But in that bikini, so that was the first one I did. And then right after that, following that, I was 60 and I got my first place in bikini.
Awesome. Congratulations. How inspiring.
A year later, I got my second first place in bikini against women from 18 and up. So I was 60 and 61. Since then, I've always placed very well. Anyway, I do. I don't know where my energy. I believe some of my energy comes from the spirit, and if you believe in that,
100%. That's what the podcast is about.
believe that I just decided I wanted to live for two, and I wanted to live happy, and I wanted to honor his memory, and
What was your son's name?
Lucas.
Okay.
And he would be 40 this July. He'll be 40. I can't even believe that. I'm saying that he would be 40, that I have a 40-year-old child. But I just, I live for two now. So
Yeah.
you see me, I'm always so positive and happy. And I say all the things that mattered to me back then, material things and stuff like that, they don't matter. Nothing matters.
All of a
But
sudden now it makes you really realize, right? How,
just loving people and friendships and just the simple things. I'm very simplistic now. And I just live for two, and he drove me, and that was my drive.
hmm
Now, how do I get the energy? I don't know. I did start hormone replacement when I was 50. So before I even had any signs of menopause, everything had dropped, my testosterone. And if you ever got your blood uh, work done at your age, they'll probably say, "Oh, your testosterone, estrogen, everything dropped."
hmm
So I went on a low dose, and ever since then, I've been on hormone replacement. And that's honestly, I've tried so many supplements, and I believe this is my personal belief. And I've even tried to sell some supplements on TikTok, but I'm not good at it because I can't lie.
Right. Right. Yeah. It has to be based on the experience and what it's done for you as well.
I believe that if you eat a well balanced diet, drink a
Yeah.
lot of water, and try not to poison your body with sugars, alcohol, processed food, um, you could, it gives me my strength. And people ask me about my skin and all that. And I think it's just, I drink a lot of water and I've been eating healthy for so long. So, if you start at 50 years old and you continue for 10 years, imagine what you could do in those 10 years. That's,
Yeah.
I say to people, but it's hard to convince people to, to want
You
to
know,
work.
it's just so hard with for myself, right? Like I was working out a little more and I wasn't in the gym like you were where I'm hitting the weights, right? But just a lot of cardio outdoors. I found it to be very it helped me a lot with my anxiety, right? And just kind of sweating and kind of like, being one with the earth, right? And it was just like my moment of meditation and just being outdoors. And I did see the results with that, in my body just through walking. I would walk an hour, 2 hours. When I was really doing bad, I would walk for 3, 4 hours. It was crazy. But it's kind of what got me through, I guess, a depression that I was also going through, right? It really helped me. And I found it, right? It's either that or you cope with it another way. And the other way is never positive. So,
I did cope. There were times that I did turn to alcohol, and it was not good because I 5 days afterwards, and I no longer drink at all. I stopped a few years ago, and it's been the best decision of my life because I
I
felt
know that you talk about that you've been very consistent with your working out and your training, and then on Saturday nights it was kind of like your escape, and you would drink some wine or alcohol, whatever your choice was, and that as soon as you stopped you really started seeing the definition in your body. So it was so harmful, and then the next day you're dealing with a hangover, right? You're in slow motion. It's just like, why am I doing this to myself?
I was getting 3 day hangovers, and that was the catalyst to just saying enough.
It's
I
the
was
age. It's the age for sure. We just can't deal with, we don't process the alcohol the same way.
and people don't want to give it up, and it's just to me it's poison, but I don't preach it. You do you, whoever,
Right.
but once I stop drinking in between competitions, I don't gain the dreaded 10, 15 pounds that I normally would gain because I'm I cut out alcohol, and not only does it slow your metabolism down, it it made me want to eat more.
Right. The next day. And that is because you're so dehydrated that you can probably fix it just by drinking more, hydrating yourself, right? A little bit more the next day. But our brain processes it with food. So, that's when you're binge eating them the whole next day. And it's like all the work that you did for the week, you just ruined it.
It was negating everything I did for the entire week. So
Yeah.
I was having 3 days of that.
Yeah.
So the um this was with my ex-husband, and he wanted one day. He says, we work hard and we're going to play hard. And I don't want to even get into the marriage or anything, but he was a narcissist, and he forced me to drink. He actually forced me to drink.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm done. I'm done for the night, and he would just, you know, make fun of me, like, you getting old on me, Granny, and really just nasty, nasty, nasty. And I allowed that. It's sad that we allow that in our lives. And I'm a pretty strong woman in so many ways, but I allowed myself to be controlled. And every Monday I would say to him, we have to stop. One of us is going to die or have a heart attack. And
Yeah.
I would remember nights. And this was shortly after Lucas died. And so I didn't know any better. I was in this coma from losing my son,
How long were you mourning?
oh my gosh. I would say at about the 4 year mark, I started to come out of it. I started
Yeah.
to make it make sense and put all the pieces together, and why that. This is the way I look at it. I don't know if you want to get into this part of
Yes, please, please. Thank you for sharing the story.
um, the way I look at, and I've talked to a few other, we call ourselves angel moms. The way I look at it is that when Lucas was born, no one said to me, here's your child, he's going to outlive you. You know how blessed I am to be able to have had a son? And I had him for 26 years. That's the way I look at it. It was a blessing for me to have a child, have this son for 26 years.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it was a short 26 years, but you have to look at it, always look at things in the positive to make things make sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the way I look at it. Do I want him back? Of course I want him back. Do I miss him every day? Yes, of course. But at about 4 years after I got off the medication from the doctors, because the doctors were ODing me on
What were they giving you? Antidepressants?
major antidepressants, anti-anxiety.
Yeah.
The antidepressant had a sleep aid in it, the anti-anxiety, but if I told you the amount, you would drop dead because it just was a lot for a little girl.
You were like a zombie at that point.
Yeah, but I was a functioning. I was able to work. I worked and, I owned my gym at that time. So I went back to work after about 3 months after he passed. I was able to work and do my basic, chores, and then wait for the weekend because my ex would want to party. So we would party on the weekends. So on top of the medication, I was drinking. Bad, bad, bad.
Oh yeah,
Bad.
that's a lethal combination, girl.
Yeah, I will admit it because I want to help anyone else that is going through. I know a lot of angel moms and dads, and I know a lot turn to alcohol or drugs and or
Mm-hmm.
drugs. And it's not the way to go. And I can tell you from my experience, find something you're passionate about. I've sat down with angel moms and held their hands and had lunch with them and just talked and just, and we all agree, like, do not turn to drugs and alcohol because that's not the way. Our children don't want us dead. They don't want us to die. We feel like we want to die. That's the feeling you have after you lose a child, but our child wants us to thrive and live for them.
What
So
was that? What was that like eye-opening moment, awakening moment that you had where you were just like, I need a different path, or this is not going to end well for me?
starting to see a lot of signs like cardinals and little signs, from the,
Spiritual signs.
but then I bumped into an ex-client of mine. It was a guy, and he would be the last person in the world to say this to me. And I literally bumped shopping carts into him
Mm-hmm.
in our supermarket in Publix. And he's like, Amy, oh my God. I hadn't seen him in maybe 10 years, but I saw him on Facebook and all that. And he says, don't worry, Lucas is okay. And I said, what? He said, Lucas is fine. He says, do you know that I coded and my wife jumped on top of me and saved me? And I told her to get the F off of me, get the F, because he says, I was in the most beautiful place
Yeah.
ever. He
Yeah.
said, he says, your son, Lucas, is fine. He says, he is better than we all are. And that, like, I don't know. I never met someone that was
Isn't it amazing though how like, whatever you want to say, God, the universe made you bump with that man at that precise moment to give you that message, right? And that could have
was
very well been Lucas speaking through him to you.
absolutely. And it
Yeah.
was my aha moment. It was at about 4 years after Luke passed. And I was able to function. I was getting better, but from the get-go, I said either I'm going to die or I want to be better.
I want to
I
feel better. I just need to feel better at this point.
At that point, that's when everything came together, and I started going back and training for these competitions, and that really helped me a lot. And I just when I crossed over to my new normal, I just became a different person. It's just you're not the same person. You can't be the same
Of
person.
course not.
Crossed over to my new normal, and I just like life is just so different for me now. It's hard to put my finger on it. It's just different. It's just
This is your new normal now.
Yeah, it's my new normal. And so going back, before I started competing, I was reading up on all this fitness stuff, and I wanted to do it myself. And like I said, I was a soccer mommy. I didn't work, but I needed a career. I needed something. So I got my certification, and I opened up a little gym. I was in a townhouse and I opened it on the ground floor, but I was in an HOA, and
Oh,
someone didn't like it and settled on me after about 6 months and said, you can't have a business in your home. And the people that were coming to me were only a few. They said, just build it, they'll come. And I said, okay. And I opened a gym, not knowing anything about business, nothing, nothing, nothing. I just bought the equipment and built it on a major thoroughfare in Tampa, major, major. And I was one of the first women, I was probably the first woman to open up a personal training gym in this area of
mhm.
Tampa. And the St. Pete Times came to me and wanted to write an article, and they wrote a full page article on a front page of their lifestyle section. And Monica, I couldn't keep up with the phone calls.
Tremendous advertising, girl.
my business just I had to hire people just like within like months. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all these people? So yeah, because I was in really great shape. I was already in my 40s. And in your 40s, now I look back on it and I say, oh my God, I was so young. But your 40s was not that young back then.
No,
Uh,
no.
but yeah, and that's how my business got started. So
Do you still currently have the gym?
it's in a different location. I've changed locations, but yes, I do. And I am starting virtual because I've met so many lovely people on TikTok, and a lot of people want to train with me. So I said, why not do it virtually? Maybe that could be my retirement, and I could get
Yes.
the gym thing and just do, you know,
So
from
you're offering personalized one-on-one training now through your virtual
yes, it's
clients?
exactly the same as I would do in the gym, except I'm not as hands-on. In my gym, I hand them the weights. It's
Of
very,
course.
I cater to them. So when you're one-on-one, you have to go grab, I tell them which weights to get. They set up their little bench and I keep them moving for a half hour and they love it and they're sweating and I love you, Amy, goodbye.
A half hour, that's it. That's all it takes.
Oh my God, yeah, I could kill you in 15 minutes.
Really? Girl, we might be talking then.
And thing when when you're not doing, I'm not old school where you do a set, rest, do a set, rest, look at your phone for 3 minutes.
You're just
It's
like
like
go, 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 go.
go, go, go. Yeah. And you just burn those muscles out.
Yeah. So let's talk about discipline and consistency then, right? Because everybody can get started and then real life takes over, right? You're tired, you got to go to work, you got to pick up the kids. Um, how have you managed to stay so consistent 30 years in? How do you actually maintain that discipline on a daily basis?
Yeah. I always said, I'm never going to be the chubby trainer. I said, that point comes, I said, someone has to tell me to retire. So I always wanted to be a good example to my clients and walk the walk and be set the example of if I could do it you could do it kind of thing.
Of course, of course. Yeah, lead by example, right?
Hmm.
And
And
so, what do you do then these days when you don't feel like working out? Because, we all have our down days. I don't care how disciplined you can be. You're going to have your moments where you're tired or you didn't sleep well the night before, you have a cold.
I'm just like everyone else. I try to make sure that I work out Monday through Friday at least. The weekends would be bonus. Now, when I'm getting ready for a competition, I am probably at 7 days a week.
Okay.
So just find that energy somewhere inside of me. Maybe it's the hormones, maybe it's just my life, but I'm very driven when I'm passionate about this is my one passion.
Yeah,
And I just go all in. So what I say to people, you know, that those are the excuses, not excuses, but the reasons. I don't have time. I
they
don't. I
are. They're all excuses. Yeah, absolutely, they're excuses. We just got, like I have found that yeah, I'm tired, I'm exhausted all the time. A lot of it was because I'm premenopausal already, right? And I think that really, they put me on progesterone already. I still have my period every month, but it's a matter of time before that happens. And I have seen a difference after taking the progesterone with my energy levels and just helping me sleep because that was my biggest problem. I couldn't sleep at night. I was waking up constantly, so I started taking melatonin because I don't want to take a stronger sleep aid because then I'm groggy, right? The next day at work, I can't concentrate. So it was a constant battle with that. I was falling into like a depression because now I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I have all this pressure and it was the hormonal imbalances that my body's going through right now at almost 50 years old.
Yeah. To me, for me, and like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, and I don't sell this stuff. But for me, I believe that having my hormones in check for these past 15 years has been the game changer.
Absolutely.
I believe supplements are not approved by the FDA. They're not regulated. You could say anything you want. That means you could say anything you want about a supplement. This
Mhm.
supplement save your life. This supplement is the There's about 100 of them. Every year there's a new one coming out. I've tried every one of them.
Yeah.
When I go off of it, do I feel any different? No. No. But when my hormones dip and I know I'm ready to, get my hormones, yes, I feel the difference when I get those hormones fixed.
So with your hormone replacement that you're taking, is it oral? Is it an injection that you're doing?
Well, up until this past year, I was doing what's called the pellet.
Oh, yes. Yes, I've heard of those. I've heard those are fantastic.
It's inserted in the butt, and then you don't have to think about it for 3 or 4 months, and then you get your blood work, and they'll say, okay, it's time, and you dipped or not. And they keep it at a certain level. This is a funny story. It's not funny, but the last time I got my pellet was in November, and my body rejected it because it was 3 days after my competition, and my body fat was so low. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm scarring up my butt back and forth, back and forth. And it's not terrible or anything like that. Laser will fix it if I ever want to laser my the little tiny scars. And now I'm doing the injectables and they're working for me. And I'm keeping it at a little bit lower level instead of so high. I'm coming down a little bit and I don't feel a difference. I almost feel like I was getting too much testosterone in the pellet. So
Yeah, the I have a girlfriend in Miami who she had a hysterectomy and started inserting the pellet, and she said it was a game changer in her life, and I've heard that from other women where they talk about, how advantageous the pellet is for them and just like their energy levels, just feeling like a woman again, a healthy woman again.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I don't want to be 30 again. I just want to feel
Well,
30
well, you look like you're 30.
again.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It's working.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that youthful mentality also helps, I'm sure, in maintaining the youthful appearance. What would you say that's like the one habit that's made the biggest difference in your transformation?
One habit. Well, I think giving up alcohol has been huge.
That's been the game changer right there that you've seen.
That's huge. The hormone replacement has been huge for 15 years, but recently, the one thing, just giving up alcohol has been just ridiculous. Like my birthday was in January. I was 65, so we had a nice little party, dinner out at a nice restaurant, and all the girls were ordering espresso martinis, and I'm like, oh my God, that was my drink. Wake you up. I said,
Yum.
I want one. He says, you sure? Because he doesn't drink either. So he says, you sure? And I said, yeah, it's my birthday. And he's like, okay, I'm not stopping you. He says, order one. I pushed it over to my daughter. I couldn't, it actually tasted like poison to me. I mean, I
Yeah,
was nauseated. I tried like 5 times to sip it and I was getting nausea. I wanted to enjoy my dinner and I gave it to Sonia. I gave it to my daughter and I was like, nope, I'm good. I'll never drink again.
that's
That's
awesome.
me that no, you don't. It's
You don't
not.
need it. You don't need it anymore in your life. Yeah, we all have different stages in life, I believe, right? We become different people in this lifetime, and that was a previous you that enjoyed it, and now it's a different mentality. It's a different mind frame that you have, and that's perfectly normal and admirable as well. At this stage in your life, do you train differently than you did like when you were earlier in your 30s and 40s?
I still train really, really hard, but I think you would call it, and people that are really in the fitness industry would know the difference between bodybuilding and fitness competitor. I'm a fitness competitor, so bodybuilding is like the girls that are really, really like
Buff.
jacked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still feminine, but
100%. And that's what I love about your physique, right? Like, I personally don't think that looks attractive in a woman, right? Like the girls that are all jacked up, that they look like dudes, right? It's like
I look like that.
you could be fit and look feminine, and that's what you are, right? Like you're very defined, but you're still you look like a woman.
I, I do train different, like I told you I get it done now. I because I have my own gym, it's a lot easier, of course, for me to just it's just me alone in the gym, and I put on like the Stairmaster or the treadmill, and I'll go on that for 3 minutes, jump off, do a set of something, go
Hmm.
on back. So I get my cardio and my weight training in. Now I'm not pushing any lighter weights than I did. I still go heavy, but my heart rate is elevated the whole time. So
Is
it's
that,
better.
and that's really the trick to it also, right? It's about maintaining a higher heart rate. And that's where you lose the weight. That's where you're gaining that
Yeah,
where you start seeing the work, right? Like working.
exactly. And I don't want to build any more muscle. I'm a little girl. I don't want to be,
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3" almost, let's say. I think
And
I shrunk
how much do you weigh?
120.
Okay. I am 120 pure muscle.
Yeah, people would guess like 103 if they looked at me in person, but then they say you're all muscular. I could see that you weigh 120 because I am pretty solid muscle. And it's just from years and years. And when my clients come in, I don't expect they don't come in, they say, you look great, but I don't want to look like you. I want to just I tell them, be the best version of yourself that you could be
Hmm.
going to put in an hour a day every single day. You're going to do 2 or 3 days a week. I said, just do it for your health at this point, because most of my clients are a little bit older because either they've been training with me for 20 years or they heard about me that I'm an older trainer and I know, I've been in the business for a long time, so I know a lot more than the younger ones, or I think I know a lot more. In my head, I know a lot more.
Well, you
Um,
definitely have more experience.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not, I don't follow anyone really, so I'm not up on the new stuff. I'm
Yeah.
old school, so I'm like, it's tried and true. What worked for Arnold, it worked for me, so it's still working for me. So I do the basics and they still work, and all this, standing on a Bosu ball, touching your head and tapping your butt and, doing all this crazy stuff. Um, it's all well and good. It's movement, but I don't think it's building muscle.
It's funny because I was watching now that you mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. His son is now competing and he's doing his second bodybuilding competition. And I think he placed at the top. Um, and
Okay.
he looks just like his father. He's not as jacked as his father was, but he looks just like it's amazing. Like the genetics there, identical.
I haven't seen him, but I did see the documentary on Arnold, and that really inspired me.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great documentary. Yeah, yeah. So for someone over the age of 45 who feels out of shape, where should they start without getting overwhelmed, right? Because it could be a little overwhelming, just the idea of maintaining a schedule, right? And maintaining that consistency. So what's a good approach as a trainer that you can share for others to start?
Well, I always say hire a professional because you're going to be so lost. The big gyms, and I used to own some Anytime Fitness franchises. The big gyms are made to confuse the general public. What they're made for is for you to join, 1,000 of your friends to join, show up once, go, oh my God, there's too many machines here. I have no idea what I'm doing. And just keep paying your monthly dues and say, well, maybe I'll go. And you go in 3 months and you go in another 3 months. If you hire a trainer wherever you live, wherever you are, find someone that you admire, that you like their physique or whatever, or that has experience, and hire a trainer, and at least have a trainer for to learn the basics. And it's well worth the money because our health is the only thing that we have control of in life. Really, think about it. Our health and the way we treat our body is the only thing we have 100% control of.
Hmm.
Oh, we have 100% control of. Don't get, yeah. But the way we take care of ourselves,
Yeah,
we have,
what like what you were saying earlier, what we're eating, right? What we're consuming on a daily basis.
yeah.
We have control over that.
And it is well worth the investment. People go out to dinner and spend $200 on dinner, but then they tell me, I
Yes.
can't afford it. I can't afford it. But then they post on social media that they're at this fancy restaurant and they
Yes.
dollar cocktails and $200 dinners. And I'm like, Okay,
Agreed, agreed, right? Like you need to reevaluate your priorities at that point.
yeah, they don't want to, it's a commitment
It's
and
an
you don't
excuse. It's an excuse.
use an excuse. And it's well worth it. If you have an appointment with a trainer, you can't cancel, you have to show up.
Right. So that's kind of like where you can maintain that consistency. It's like, shoot, I already paid, right? Like I'm gonna get charged a fee if I don't show up, or I still gotta pay because, they set aside the time for me. So it keeps you with that consistency as well. There's a place right next door. It's hardcore. It's called Hardcore Fitness. And I've been contemplating joining. I checked it out. It was awesome. It's not cheap. But yeah, like I see the people going in and out, and it's kind of like you're working in a team, but it's very individualized, right? But you see the girls that are in there, and you're just like, all right, like people are coming in here to work out. Like it's not like a gym where it's like, okay, let me wear some makeup and see if I can pick somebody up, you know? So yeah, I'm still up against the fence about the money, right? Because that's where I'm like, oh, and then there's a contract.
Well,
And I'm just like, oh, do I really want to do this? Am I going to be able to commit 1 year to coming?
well, I wouldn't commit to a year. I would never commit, like
Well,
pay
but
up.
that's just the way that it is there. That's what's held me up with it also.
Okay. But I would say if those are people that you look up to and admire, and I would just say, this is what I'm going to do. And this is a year. And I bet you after that year, you'll want to stay.
Yeah,
You'll want to.
yeah. Well, as soon as you start seeing like the physical changes that your body's going through, when you're fit, right? You look better, you feel better about yourself. It's a different energy that you present to the world at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how many days a week should someone realistically be working out to see results?
I would say, well, really to start, I would say 2 to 3 days to start, just lifting weights.
For like 30
Be-
minutes?
You get, excuse me,
For 30 minutes?
for about 30 minutes. Yeah, but keep it moving. Like I said, keep it moving. Don't do a set rest because that's going to take you an hour and a half, 2 hours.
What
Build.
what I've read a lot of when someone's working out, right? You want to do cardio if you want to do some weight loss, right? Is it important to do the cardio before you hit the weights or after? Or it
It
doesn't
does.
matter?
I think there's different. Everyone has a different opinion about that. I like to do my cardio first thing because for me, it helps my brain. Because I, like you, I have anxiety, and sometimes in the morning it's worse. So I immediately get a little sweat going, and I do it before. So they say to do cardio after because you need more energy to lift weights. So they
Mm-hmm.
say, and lifting weights is way more important than doing cardio.
Okay.
uh, then do your cardio after, or do it every other day. Do it, just don't even do it on those days. Do it on your, like, call it your active rest, and do your cardio on the every other day.
What's more important as we age, cardio or strength training?
Strength training, number one. The strength training is the only way that you're going to change your body permanently. It's going to increase your metabolism for the rest of your life, is building muscle.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to increase your metabolism on a daily basis. Cardio alone, all it's doing, well, it's beneficial, very beneficial, because it's strengthening the most important muscle in your body, which is your heart. But it is not changing your body. It is burning some calories. So that hour-long walk that Joe Schmo took this morning burned 250 calories. Well, he went home and had breakfast, and he
He
made
ate it all
himself,
back.
yeah, waffles, and ate that 250 calories. That's
Yeah.
it. So cardio is good for the brain. It's good
That's
for
what
the
I
heart.
was gonna say. I feel like cardio is good for your brain. It's like mental therapy at that point.
But weight training is the only way. Only I couldn't get this body from just doing cardio.
So what are
That,
what are three non-negotiable exercises for anybody over the age, any woman over the age of 45 that they should be doing?
I think every woman should learn how to do a proper push up. I think you should be squatting and lunging for your legs and glutes.
Cellulite, right? Like all the cellulite that we start getting as we get older as well.
Walking lunges, squats, weighted squats.
But we
Push.
we can use our body also, right? Our own body weight for squats, or is that not recommended?
No, you can use your own body, but you go to, I call it failure is what you want to go to. You want to push yourself until those last 5 reps are like, oh my God, I could barely get back up again. Oh my gosh. If you're doing, let's just say a shoulder press like this, and you're using, let's say, 10-pound dumbbells,
Mm-hmm.
get to 10 reps and 11, 12. Those are the ones that are tearing down your muscles, those last 2 reps.
So don't do it or do it.
Here. So if it's a lightweight or if it's no weight, just do more reps.
Okay.
You know, go to 50 if you have to. Go to
Mm-hmm.
50 if you have to. If 10 is not hard enough, just keep going
So
until it's
so we want to get to that point where we're kind of like ripping
struck.
the muscle and taking it to another level, right? Like three more, keep going. Like we want to do that to the muscle.
Yes. The whole theory behind building muscle is when we lift weights and we go to failure, and let's say I'm doing shoulder day today and I go to failure on every exercise, the next day my body is resting. I'm not doing shoulders again the next day. I'm going to pick another body part like lower body. So these muscles are repairing, and that's how they're building up. That's how they're getting bigger, is the repairing part. So you're tearing down the muscle fiber, then you're building it up by resting.
And what are we taking also to help us regain any torn tissue or recuperating, right? Is it creatine that bodybuilders take so often to repair their muscle?
I I don't know. I tried it. I got nauseated, so I stopped.
I bought some gummies from Walmart and I didn't like the taste of it, but I've read so many positive things about taking creatine for your muscle.
Yeah, it's also they say in higher doses it's good for brain function down the
Right.
road, so people are really pushing it for that. But creatine is not cheap, and I who knows how do they have these studies? How do they know that that person's brain, they weren't going to get dementia at 95 years old anyway.
Right.
We don't know this yet. So I don't, like I said about supplements, I don't push any supplements. If someone wants to take it and they think it's working, it could be placebo or it could be working. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm off of pretty much, I had some collagen, I'm still taking, and that's it. And
I
hair
take
vitamins.
that. I take collagen every morning in my coffee. I've been doing it for years and it helps me with my skin. I think it helps me with energy.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the only thing. Everything else, I've pretty much, there's so many things out there. Everyone claims this is for energy, this is for energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're, can I say peeing? We're peeing like $300 worth of supplements a month.
Well,
That's my,
that's what they say with vitamins, right? That they're kind of a waste of time because we're peeing most of it out. Your body's not really absorbing any of it.
you're eating a good diet, well-balanced diet, you should be getting the vitamins that you need. A good multivitamin is probably fine. And if you are deficient, let's say your doctor says you're deficient in vitamin D. Most women over the age of 50 are deficient in vitamin D. Everyone I know is on vitamin D. That's the only thing that I take. That's the only
Yeah.
vitamin. That collagen, I don't think there's a magic pill out there that's going to
Yeah.
help you build muscle or anything like. It's just hard work. It's just work.
Old school, right? Like get your ass to the gym and work out and eat healthy, right?
Putting in the work is, yeah, there's no secrets. Everyone wants on
What's the
social
right? Everybody wants like the magic formula. There's no magic formula, you
first
know?
on TikTok. That's the biggest question I got from the women is, what's your secret? I'm like, I don't
I don't
really
have one. I work out.
I eat well. I don't eat a lot of sugar, although last night I binged on gummy nerds. Um,
That doesn't sound too bad.
every once in a while it's okay. It's not
I
a
thought you were gonna say like I binged on ice cream, you know?
but I had half of a big bag, and I just kept. You know what? Every once in a while, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to change my body. It is
Hmm.
or is kind of poison, but you know what? Once in a while, go for it. I'm not that person that's like you have to. You can't do this. Now, if I'm getting so I'm ready to get up on stage,
Competing, right.
I'm like, that everything has to go. everything.
So
Basically,
with your experience training women, how long before someone starts to feel a difference in their energy and seeing like those results in their body that you can give like a realistic expectation?
I would say you have to give it 3 months of consistent training to see some changes. 6 months, you'll really see some major changes.
Hmm.
Year, if you are consistent, really consistent, a year, your body should be completely different. If
Right.
you're eating well, if you have all the components, if you're eating well, if you're working out, you know, 3, 4, 5 times a week, if you're doing your cardio and you're lowering, not eliminating, lowering the alcohol, lowering your sugar, and lowering the processed foods. There's also this you could share with your people. There's an app. It's called Yucca. It's a free app. It's
Oh,
YUK.
to scan in the grocery stores, I've heard of it from several people.
Be surprised because we do need certain items that are down the aisles, right? So let's say I'm getting peanut butter. One day I want peanut butter. Peanut butter is not the greatest. I usually get fresh ground almond butter, but I wanted peanut butter. And I went through and scanned probably 10 different brands of peanut butter until I found one that was rated good, not even excellent, but good. And that was the one I bought
Yes, I've
because
heard of that app. I've heard of that app from several people.
in the foods that we're eating. So yucca is the first few times you use it and you go grocery shopping, you're going to be in the grocery store for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Know which brands, if you eat the same thing every week, you know which brands you could buy.
Right, then you know. Okay, so let's get the great segue because I definitely want to get into nutrition and bodybuilding discipline with you. So when you're competing, how strict is your diet daily?
My diet is ridiculous. It's painful. It's not fun. It's kind of like a keto diet, but a clean keto diet. So it's just protein and vegetables, protein and
So
vegetables.
you don't
And
eat any carbs at all.
um, if I'm doing well on my diet, I give myself 2 rice cakes with almond butter, fresh almond butter in the morning, and that's what I usually do because I start my diet pretty far out from a competition. If
Like
I
how
know
far out?
I'll start 5 months, but I'll usually be ready like 2 months. And then I get to coast, which means I could cheat. So, yeah, when you're dieting for a competition, if you want to do well, now there are girls that get on stage and say, you know what, I want to rock a bikini, and I give them so much credit, but I couldn't do it. But they get on stage, in a bikini and, may have dieted and they may, went from 200 pounds to 160 and said, their husband said, I want to see you get up on that stage. And kudos to them. And there are competitions. My competition allows that. Some competitions you have to qualify for, so it wouldn't allow that. But I say everyone's journey, fitness journey is different. Um, I don't expect my clients to say, I want to get into bikini this summer because they're in their 50s and 60s. I just want them to feel good about themselves, you
Yeah.
know. It's everyone's different. I'm a little bit extreme and I know that about myself, but it works for me.
I know that diet is one of the right, what do they say? 80% eating, or what is it, 20% in the gym, and or 90%, whatever it is, but it's basically what you're consuming, what you're eating on a daily basis, right? Like that's
There's
where you really start seeing the results, where you can start transforming your body.
exactly. There's a saying you can't out train a bad diet.
Right.
That means that you have a really bad diet. You can't go in the gym for 3 hours. You're never going to negate what you ate.
Yeah.
Never change your body. Example was over COVID when we had nothing to do and we were just day drinking and I was eating whatever I wanted to. I had 2 gyms. I had an Anytime Fitness and my personal training gym. So I was going to 2 gyms to kill time because I was allowed to work out, but everything was closed
Right.
and allowed to work. So I was working out for good 2.5 hours a day, but I gained 20 pounds.
Still, because you were not behaving at home.
And I'll train a bad diet.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Is it possible to transform your body without this extreme dieting and eating? Can you do it or no? Is it impossible?
absolutely. You just have to make some minor changes in your diet. You could, just, decrease what you're eating, not have, that third piece of pizza, have one slice of pizza, or,
Take that craving away at least, right?
yeah, minor changes will be, make you will see so many changes in your body.
Talk to us about portion control with like protein and carbs and vegetables. How
Well,
we should how should our plate look?
everyone's different and there's no one size fits all diet, but I would say um, uh, protein and veggies should be about equal, and then a small amount of carbs. So good carbs, like a brown rice, or a slice of a sweet potato, not a whole sweet potato, but like a slice of a sweet potato. But you fill up on, like when I diet, I do 2 cups of broccoli, 4 to 6 ounces of protein. And then when I'm really strict on the diet, I eliminate those carbs. But if I do have the carbs, I'll do just like a quarter of a cup. So I'm not going to bed hungry, because going to bed hungry is the worst thing you could possibly do, because then you wake up and you sleepy like I do. And you find wrappers of protein bars by your bed like
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
So that's a good thing. So
I,
it's
ha I
better.
have a little stash of M&Ms, peanut M&Ms next to my bed when I get the munchies. So how important is sleep in maintaining your physique and energy levels uh, when you're working out or when you're trying to maintain, right, a disciplined lifestyle in order to be able to compete, for example, like what you're doing? How important is sleep and how do you manage to do that? Because a lot of people when they work out, right? That gives you so much more energy and it disrupts your sleep pattern as well.
Well, I work out in the morning, so it doesn't disrupt my sleep pattern at night. And
Mhm.
I push myself to keep falling back to sleep if I wake up. If I'm hungry, I'm like, nope, you can't eat. You have to go back to sleep. So with sleep and rest are a huge part of the equation. People, I'm so exhausted by the end of the day after working out and training my clients that I'm fortunate enough that I do sleep. Now, was I up at 3:45 this morning? Yes, I do. As you get older, your body doesn't require as much sleep,
Right.
but I do crash like this time of day. I'm crashing now. I get tired.
Do you
So
drink
I
coffee then for energy? Is that part of your daily routine?
Not midday, but in the morning I drink black coffee in the morning. I have a couple of cups, so I do allow myself that. And but I nap pretty much every day. I make time to nap too. So
Yeah.
even if it's just a half hour, I call it detoxing my brain. So I detox from talking to people all day, picking up
Yeah.
weight, doing my work, and I just have to detox my brain. So I give there's a certain time in my business that no one wants to work out at lunchtime. It's either morning until maybe 11 o'clock, and
Right.
then it picks up again at about 3 o'clock. Like kids from after school,
Right.
or, people that work, whatever. So I get a bit, I'm very fortunate. I do get that break, and I make sure I get my errands done quick, and
You
I lay down.
you
I
have your downtime. Yeah, that's important. I mean, it's statistically proven, right? Like so many companies on the eastern side of the world, right? They implement that in corporations where you must nap. You have to do it because you're that much more productive.
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's no way and it's not even that I fall asleep. I may not fall asleep.
But you're
It's just
resting. You're resting.
down, and I think that's very important for anyone in life in general, for any career that you're in. I mean, my whole theory, my whole philosophy on life, is it's never too late for anything, and that I don't push the fitness part. What I'm pushing, because of the loss of my son, because of the trauma and everything I've gone through. I tell people it's never too late. Even though I'm 65 years old, I may decide to do a new sport. I may decide it's not too late. I'm deciding to do virtual training at 65 years old and start. I mean, that's totally out of my wheelhouse. It's still personal training, but it's totally different.
Right.
It's never too late. People say, "Oh, I'm 50 years old. It's too late for me
Yeah,
to
they
start."
think that, yeah, their life is over at that point.
No, at 50 years old, geez, you could start working out now, Monica, and in 2 years, you could transform your body. But you have to make that commitment. You have to
Yeah.
go to the gym and you have to say, I'm committed. I don't care about the money. So what? I won't eat out, one day a month this year, this month. Every month I won't eat out one day.
Yeah.
I'll say, do I really need to eat out that day? No.
Yeah.
And make a commitment,
Do you cook all of your meals? Are you are that person that like cooks all her meals at home?
hate cooking. I hate cooking. So it's the easier the better. So when I do meal prep and do that, it's basically baked chicken with seasoning on it, um, bag of broccoli in the microwave.
Do you have a preference with your protein that where you see more effective results?
I eat a lot of clean protein, which is chicken, eggs, and when I diet, I eat more fish, but some days my body will be craving a steak and I'll get a small filet and I'll make a filet. And your body needs fat too. It needs that. It needs it. And my body is obviously craving it. It needs the energy. And all of a sudden, it'll be a burst of energy for me to
Eggs
have
are
that.
great though, right? Eggs are great for a source of protein.
Yeah, clean protein. You can make hard boiled a million different ways. You can make eggs, and yeah, I think it's a great protein. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the way you could get in your like 100, grams of protein is just snack on a hard-boiled egg here and there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I've been consuming that a little bit more. It's easy, right? Like you can you can fry it, you can boil it, you can, scrambled eggs. It's such an easy food to make and it's so healthy for you. That I've tried to implement it a little bit more in my daily because I have gained some weight, and so yeah, I gotta make a move. I gotta make a move, Amy.
We could talk more personally.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So let me ask you, what does it mean being strong at 65? Like, what is that definition for you?
I feel I feel like I'm superhuman, not in a braggy way or anything like that. I'm like, first of all, how did I get to this age? And I just because I just don't feel 65. I feel 35 or 40. I feel empowered because I took care of my health and I decided to do it at a young age without even knowing what I was doing back then because I was
Hmm.
so naive. I just wanted a hot body. Yeah, I wanted my hot body back from when I was in my 20s before I had kids, teens. I wanted that hot body back. And so vanity drove me. Now it's like I feel so much more ahead of the game because I'm 65 and my last well I'll prove I'll give you proof. So I was 64 in November I was 64 at my last competition and I competed against all ages again and I won the entire thing, the sports and the bikini combined out of
Awesome.
all ages. This is the first time. This was the big trophy, the big like win. Like it was mind blowing.
What does that do to you at that point? Like when you win and you win like all these younger women also that are competing. Like what does that do for your self-esteem at that point?
It's very humbling. It's really humbling for me. It's like I still pinch myself saying, wow, I did that. I accomplished that in my life. Like if I die tomorrow, I could say I did that. It's like I'm living my dream. It may not be someone else's dream, but like I'm competing, and it's more it's more to set an example for other women that are getting like your age and up, like 45 and up, to
Yeah.
say to them, we're not washed up, we're not old hags,
Yeah.
we're not invisible any at all. We are you know we are beautiful grown up women. I'd rather look at a woman's body in her 50s than look at these little 20-year-old Pop
Yeah.
Tarts that genetically have great bodies. So they work out a little bit, you know. A woman in her 50s that's doing it, wow, that's amazing. That to me is amazing. So to be on that level of, you know, my career, I feel great about myself, you know,
What's
that
that?
what
What's that? What's that one message that you can give a 50-year-old woman that feels like it's too late? I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm too flabby.
that if you want it bad enough, you have to stop making excuses and just go for it. In anything, if you want to change careers, if you want to get fit, like I said, it's not just about fitness, it's about everything in life. It's just, we're never too late. We're never too late. You know, we're too late when we're, you know, 6 feet under. That's when
Yeah.
it's too, if you don't do it now, you know, jump out of that plane, do what you want to do, just do it.
Right. Yeah. Just move forward with it. No fear. Just, live with purpose. Right. Yeah. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. So Amy, talk to me. How can somebody watching this today? They're looking. I'm going to post some pictures of you. So you need to send me some pictures. I always put it in the beginning of the podcast. I want to see kind of like your before and afters when you're competing. We'll add them, but you're motivating somebody like me right now where they're like, okay, I'm going to do it. If Amy can do it, I can do it. How can they reach you for help?
Well, would you like, I could, they could either, if they're not on TikTok, that's the problem, TikTok or Facebook, or
What
um,
platforms are you currently on?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, not so big on Instagram. It's just my Facebook stuff goes to Instagram, Facebook mostly, and TikTok.
Okay.
And I'm trying, I'm going to be doing some YouTube. I'm just going to be repeating some of the videos that I did on TikTok. TikTok just took off for me. Like this, I've only been on it for a year and it just took off.
Yeah.
And so I'm sticking with TikTok. I'm primarily on TikTok, but they
I
can
feel
find me.
like you would do really well on Instagram if you focused on it as well. TikTok has a great algorithm, though. I agree. Everybody has the best results with TikTok. There's a lot more engagement on there.
Instagram never, and I've been on Instagram as long as I've been on Facebook. Facebook, I have about 12,000 followers, and I'm loaded up with as many friends as I could have. So I'm doing okay on Facebook. But as far as contacting me, I mean, you have my phone number, but I don't know how to do that through this pub without.
Well, if you'd like, I can. So at the end of the podcast, once I post it, it'll be available in YouTube. In the comment section, the very first comment section, I'll put all your links for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so that people can reach you. If you want to share an email, a phone number, I can add that there as well. And just to make it easier for someone to contact you.
That would be great. You could put my email. Phone numbers are great, but I don't answer the phone unless I
Okay.
know
So we'll
call
we'll share your maybe an email that could be an easier way for them to get a hold of you.
first and say, I saw a podcast with Monica, you know, this is so and so, and you inspired me, and blah, 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 blah. If they call me, I'm just going to let it go to voicemail because if I
Yeah.
don't remember, you know, there's all this scam.
Spam. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I don't answer phone calls either. I'm like, text me so that I know it's you.
I don't, it's too much, it's a waste of my time to answer the phone, so I don't answer it. And I'm sure
Yeah.
most people don't either.
Yeah.
So, you know, I will you can give out my phone number as well. I'm not,
Okay.
I mean, it's out there. If they Google me, if my last name, if they Google me, everything's going to come up anyway because I come up on Google.
What's your last Mangi Lulu?
Name, but I go by Amy Lynn M, Lyn, with a capital M on Facebook. So
Okay.
Amy Lynn M. It's Mayulo is my married name. It's so I try not to use it as much, but it is my legal name. It's Magliulo.
Okay. I've never heard that name. That's different. Okay.
All a silent letter. Mayulo. Mayulo. You know, it was Italian. Mayulo.
Okay, so final question, Amy. If you can give one piece of advice to someone starting today, what would it be and why should they contact you for help?
Hmm. one piece of advice, get yourself a heart rate monitor, a
Apple
good
Watch, right? Like that works.
a good pair of sneakers, and some crummy old workout clothes, because I don't care what you look like, and just get ready to work and get ready to change your body because I am the person for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. You've been super motivating. You look amazing. Keep doing the work. God knows we need inspiration to kind of like get us back on the track, right?
That's really the message on TikTok is just, I have a lot of mail, and at the beginning it was the men were, they think it's a dating site, and I'm not on there for dating whatsoever. I have someone, and but those kind of disappeared, and the men that are following me are also inspired, which I think is so super cool. Like I have guys that I'm like, hey Adam, hey Todd, hey so it's like in the morning, and it's like, it's not just women. So I'm inspiring men. Now, am I going to get a male client? I do train men, but is a male client going to want to, virtually train with me? I don't think so. But
Right,
so
right.
towards the women, I'd rather do women anyway. I'm very familiar with the woman's body, but
Of
I
course. Yeah. Yeah.
love,
Yeah. There's a lot more relatability also, right? Like me, if I were to work out, I would want a female more than a male for sure.
I just become friends with everyone. I can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Just
and you understand, right? Like, oh, I have cramps. Okay, I get it. Let's not work out today. Like, you can't say that to a man where they understand it the same way.
I'd be like, suck it up, Buttercup, to the
Yeah,
man.
we're working out. Let's go. All righty, Amy. Well, thank you again. I loved speaking with you. Do me a favor, send me, like I said, some pictures. Text me some of your pictures so I can add them on the podcast. And people can see your amazing body and your when you were in competition, in your bikini, so that they can see your muscles and how great you look.
I'll do that. You want me to send it just by text?
Yeah, send it to me by text, and I'll add it all as soon as I upload the podcast. Okay.
Sounds great.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great rest of this Friday and a great
thanks.
weekend.
Have a great Easter.
Okay, honey. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.